I am making a naturia deck profile. I'm mainly making it just because I finally managed to get everything for it, and plus their newer support. And I figured I'd go ahead and make what I currently have, and then once I've updated it again, I will make another naturia deck profile. But starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Naturia Mole Cricket. Mole Cricket has the effect that during your main phase, you can tribute this card to special summon a Naturia monster from your deck, or you can special summon 2 Naturia monsters if your opponent has the strongest monster in play. And then it also has the effect of if your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, or you. I'm sorry, I lost what it is. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extra monsters from the extra deck, you can special summon a Naturia monster from the extra deck. Or my bad. Or use special summon a monster from the extra deck while this card's in the graveyard. You can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Mole Cricket once per turn. I don't know why my eyes just could not want to read. Because I apologize because I haven't memorized most of these effects, so I will be reading them out loud. But pretty much something you can do with this is you can special summon off like something like 1 for 1. Your opponent summons a monster stronger than it, you tribute it, summon 2 Naturias. And then with a summon reaction, you can summon this back. And I believe, yeah, you can only use each effect of Naturia Mole Cricket once per turn. But anyway, its effect is if your opponent summons from the extra deck, or you special summon a Naturia from the extra deck, you can special summon from the grave. Then I play 2 copies of Naturia. I can't tell if it's supposed to be Vayne. I think it's supposed to be Naturia Vayne. But Vayne has the effect your opponent activates a spell or trap card. Quick effect, you contribute 1 Naturia monster and this card to negate the activation if you destroy that card. Then I also play 3 copies of Naturia Antjaw. Antjaw has the effect of when your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 level 3 or lower Naturia monster from your deck. Then I also play 2 copies of Naturia Sunflower. This is the exact same as Naturia Vayne, except monster effects. Then I play 1 copy of Naturia Cosmobeat. Cosmobeat has the effect of when your opponent normal or sets a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's mainly just in here because it's another tuner. Then I also play 1 copy of Naturia Rose Whip. Rose Whip has the effect of just your opponent can only activate 1 spell trap per turn. Then I play 2 copies of Naturia Butterfly. Naturia Butterfly has the effect of once per turn when an opponent's monster declares an attack. You can send the top card of your deck to the grave, and if you do, negate that attack. Then I play 1 copy of Naturia Marin. Marin has the effect of when this card is normal summoned, you can send a Naturia monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then once per turn, you can target 2 Naturia monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then you can draw 1 card. Then I also play 1 copy of Keldo, the Sacred Protector. The main thing that matters with this card is that quick effect, you can banish this card from your grave, target 3 cards in the graveyard, and shuffle them back into the deck. You can only use that effect of Keldo, the Sacred Protector, once per turn. Then I also play 3 copies of Naturia Camellia. Naturia Camellia is probably the best monster you can have on the board with this deck. As has the effect of if this card is normal or special summoned, you can send a Naturia card from your deck to the grave. And then if you attribute a monster to activate a Naturia monster's effect, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the grave instead. So like if you activate Naturia Sunflower's effect, you can use Camellia to then send the top 2 cards instead of attributing Sunflower and another Naturia. And their effects are not once per turn, so you can still use Sunflower again. And then Camellia also has the effect of if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during a damage step, you can special summon a Naturia monster from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Naturia Camellia once per turn. Then I play one copy of Mudora, Kalbeck, and Agito. Mudora is the exact same as Keldo, and Kalbeck and Agito, both if they're sent from deck to grave, each player sends top 5 cards of the deck to the graveyard. Then I also play one copy of Naturia Horn Needle. Horn Needle has the effect that when your opponent special summons a monster, quick effect, you contribute one other face-up Naturia monster you control, destroy that monster. Then to finish off the monsters, I do play 2 copies of Naturia Bamboo Shoot. This card has the effect if it's tribute summoned by attributing a Naturia monster, your opponent can't activate spells or traps. Which, against some decks, that's game against them. Moving on to the spells, I play one copy of 1/1 Singing Special Summon Mole Cricket from deck. One copy of Called by the Grave to deal with opponent's hand traps. And one copy of Monster Reborn just so that you can extend it if you needed. Then I play 3 copies of Naturia Blessing. Naturia Blessing has the effect of you can activate one of 3 effects. Meaning special summon a Naturia monster from your hand or graveyard. Or immediately after its effect resolves, synchro summon using Naturia monsters you control. Or my bad. You can synchro summon using monsters you control, including Naturia. And then, or you can fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as material, including a Naturia monster. So this is how you will be able to summon one of your 2 Naturia fusions, though you will hardly ever actually be special summoning a fusion off of this effect. Or I say special summoning, but you are technically fusion summoning. Then to finish off the spells, I play 3 copies of Time Tearing Morganite since this deck does not have any monster effects that activate from hand. This just makes it so that you apply its effects for the rest of the duel, where you cannot activate monster effects from your hand, but you can, however, get 2 normal summons a turn, which helps with Naturia Bamboo Shoot. And then lets you also be able to draw 2 cards instead of 1 during your draw phase. And then you can banish this card as well as discarding another Time Tearing Morganite from your hand to then be able to make it so that your opponent cannot activate monster effects when you normal summon this turn. So that just means, like, if you were to normal summon something that would search, and your opponent can't ash. However, they could still imperm since that's not a monster effect. Moving on to the traps, I play 1 copy of Naturia Sacred Tree. This would be a 3 of, but since Konami decided to limit Naturia Sacred Tree, which I kind of don't like. But the tree has the effect if this card sent to the graveyard, you can add a Naturia card from your deck to your hand, except for another copy of Naturia Sacred Tree. And you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. And you can only use that one, or you can use the effect once per turn. You can only use it once that turn. So you can use its effect to do either one, but it's only one or the other for that turn. Where you can tribute an earth insect, add a level 4 lower earth plant, or you can tribute a level 4 lower earth plant to add a level 4 lower earth insect. Which, that's not the effect that matters as often as it is the sending to search for a Naturia. It's like what you would probably end up doing is throughout testing is take cards out, like I might replace Time Tearing Morganite with Foolish Burial Goods. And then the fun part is you can use Mudora or Keldo to then put Naturia Sacred Tree back in the deck. And then I'm also playing 2 copies of Exterio's Fang. Exterio's Fang has the effect that you can only activate while you control a Naturia monster and have at least 1 card in hand. But you can negate the activation of an opponent's spell or trap card and then destroy it, and then you can send 1 card from your hand to the grave. Honestly, I'll probably end up taking out Exterio's Fang for copies of Foolish Burial Goods. I then finish off the deck. I play 3 copies of Gravity Collapse. Gravity Collapse just says when your opponent would summon a monster, you can send a face-up synchro you control to the grave to then be able to negate the summon, destroy it, and then your opponent's not allowed to summon for the rest of the turn. And then moving on to the extra deck. The extra deck is very simple and the main thing that needs to be changed, honestly. But for the extra deck, I play 3 copies of Naturia Beast. Beast just says if your opponent would activate a spell card, then you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the grave, negate the spell, and if you do, destroy it. The only downside of this is that Naturia Beast must remain face up on the field to resolve its effect. So if you activate Beast and your opponent chains something like Ghost Ogre, then Beast will essentially be negated because it's no longer in play. Then I also play 3 copies of Naturia Barkion. Naturia Barkion says when your opponent or when a trap card is activated, quick effect, you can banish 2 cards from your grave, negate the activation if you do destroy it. And then just like Beast, Barkion must be on the field to resolve its effect. Then I also play 3 copies of Naturia Landoys. Landoys just says when a monster effect's activated, you can send a spell from your hand to the graveyard and negate the activation if you destroy that card. And again, must remain face up on the field to resolve its effect. And then I also play 3 copies of Naturia Leo Drake. Leo Drake's just a level 9, 3000 body. And I also play 1 copy of Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree. This just says they cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects except during main phase 2, which, as long as you don't go into main phase 2, just means it can't be targeted. Then they also play 1 copy of Naturia Exterio and 1 copy of Naturia Gaiastrio. That's what it is. But Naturia Exterio just says its fusion summon can only be done with the above monsters, which are Naturia Beast and Barkion. But when your opponent would activate a spell or trap, quick effect, you can banish a card from your graveyard, then send the top card of your deck to the grave, negate the activation if you do destroy that card, and then this card must remain face up on the field to activate and resolve this effect. And then Gaiastrio says that during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets exactly 1 card in the field, and no other cards, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard and negate the activation if you destroy that card. That is it for my Naturia deck profile. If you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas the decks you'd like to see made in the future, or decks you'd like to see face each other, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching.